I just want to introduce Jennifer DuBose by saying that I have tremendous respect for what she's doing. She's doing what I would like to be doing. I would love to be able to write like she does about what's happening in the world today. She's just like really clear, and she cuts through all the BS and she lays it out. And even if you don't agree with her, you have to respect her clarity of vision. And thank you, Jennifer. You do a great job.
This
Come share
column,
with us.
I write a weekly column for the Chronicle, and this one was published in December, about a week after an event that inspired these words. Alleged child molester and white supremacist Roy Moore of Alabama, a former Chief Justice, was narrowly defeated in his quest for a U.S. Senate seat recently. What does it mean that an apparent predator was even in the running? Are we really having this conversation? Like it or not, it seems we are. But now we must keep talking, especially with our kids. A veritable cascade of prominent men has fallen along with Moore in recent weeks, following allegations of sexual assault and harassment. I know we're all weary of consuming news of yet another Me Too hashtag, but I believe we must hear, acknowledge, and do right by them and by our children. I'm angry and I'm scared. I often catch my dear daughter, guileless and free, sock-footed and unself-conscious, twirling about in our kitchen. She hums her own tune, but hears the stories too. What must she think? What must it be like growing up and blossoming in view of such muck? Oh, how I pity the fool who even thinks about harming her. I'm a mama bear. But I can't be everywhere, and I'm just not that powerful. Contrary to the notions that coursed through my veins, alongside the oxytocin that gushed there too when she was but a mere babe. So we talk, early and often. We parents must talk with our kids. We must normalize sexuality and sexual feelings and share our views about what makes for healthy relationships. We must communicate our values too. And we must enlighten our children about the truly tender synapses in our brains and the very real chemistry created there when we allow our energies to mingle with another's. More of that oxytocin, a hormone secreted by the posterior lobe of the pituitary gland, a pea-sized structure at the base of the brain. And that's fired up whenever we cuddle, connect, give birth, or nurse. And about the impact of this chemistry on our emotions, its power to bind us is remarkable. In fact, when under the spell of this powerful hormone, also released during sex, women quite literally, unconsciously overlook red flags about potential flaws in their mates. Because my oh my, there could be a baby on board. And Mother Nature knows that babies need papas and providers. So yeah, overlook them they do. Powerful stuff, that oxytocin. And by the way, men fall under its spell as well. Not just women. We must inform our children about the other kinds of power too, theirs and others, and about how harassment, coercion, and assault certainly are not sex, and have absolutely nothing whatsoever, nothing to do with love. Information is power too. I also tell my children that people are complicated. So when men fall from great heights, their good works don't suddenly all become suspect, choreographed merely to offset the more unsavory aspects of their personalities. Whatever the case, and while I understand some of what may give rise to the power dynamic that breeds an atmosphere literally accepting of some men's and women's perceived entitlement to perpetrate damaging, confusing advances and assaults, there's simply no excusing them. One's power and influence, and the potential impact of exploiting it, whether intended or truly unwitting, on those who depend upon and look up to us cannot be overestimated. We must hold those who violate this trust accountable, and then we must talk to our children and to each other, and we must strive to at least try and excise this awful angst from our kind. A fairy tale, you say? Knock yourself out. Go ahead and chalk it up to human nature. But this mama bear, and apparently freshman Senator Doug Jones' new constituents, the guy who took on and beat Roy Moore in Alabama, think we can do better. We can be better. We can exercise our voices in our spheres of influence, however large or small they may be. Yay for ballot boxes, right? And we can be the change we want to see in our very own kitchens with our very own kids. And hey, I hear them too, those chants of, where have all the good men gone? But I think they're here. They're right here. And they're hurting from all of this. And our boys, those good men to be, need for the good guys to step up and show them how it's done. Let's gift our children with examples of respect and healthy boundaries. Show them what love really looks like and what they should expect in their relationships. Do it, please, will you? Before sock feet spins give way to more shame and hunched shoulders. For they all, every last boy and every last girl, deserve a chance to dance. Thank you.